As regular viewers will know, last Friday I quit my job to take TLDR full time. Because of that, I'm able to spend more time creating content and giving exclusive benefits to Patreon backers, as well as us committing to extra bonus content if we reach certain backer totals. If you want to lend us a hand and help us make independent news content, then head over to our Patreon page. There's a link in the description. So the Conservative leadership race continues, and there's been some fairly major progress in the race. Before we get to the second round of voting that happened yesterday, let's first cover a bit of context. A couple of weeks ago, Theresa May stepped down as leader of the Conservative Party, the party governing the UK at the moment. This means that the Conservative Party no longer have a leader, and May is only staying on as Prime Minister until a replacement can be found. When the leader of the Conservative Party steps down, a number of people put themselves forward for the role. Then the Conservative members of Parliament whittle down these candidates through a series of votes, with the least popular candidates being knocked out in each round. Once they've got to the final two, the General Party is allowed to vote. This is the around 160,000 paying members of the Conservative Party. They then decide who the new leader will be. Because the Conservatives are currently in government, whoever is chosen will automatically become Prime Minister. This means that the general electorate, the people of the United Kingdom, will never actually get a say in the new Prime Minister, unless they pay to join the Conservative Party. But the weird process of elections in the UK is a discussion for another day. Let's focus on what happened recently. So 10 people put themselves forward for the first round of voting, and their fellow MPs voted on them last Thursday. The person with the least votes, Esther McVeigh, was knocked out at the first round, as were Andrea Leadsom and Mark Harper, who all failed to achieve 5% of the vote, equivalent to 17 supporters. The following day, Matt Hancock also pulled out of the race, saying that it was becoming increasingly clear that the party were looking for a candidate who could deal with the unique circumstances surrounding Brexit, essentially meaning that it was becoming increasingly clear that he wasn't getting enough votes. In his resignation speech, he made it obvious that he continued to push for his values.
The need for the Conservative Party to be pro-business, pro-enterprise, open, outward-looking, gregarious.
It could be because of this that he ended up announcing that he was backing Boris Johnson on Monday night, saying that he'd received assurances that Johnson will be a one-nation Conservative and support the needs of businesses. He also said that he believed it was clear that Johnson was going to win anyway, and that the party should unite around him as soon as possible. Some of the other fallen candidates also chose to endorse other candidates, with Esther McVeigh and Andrea Leadsom both choosing to support the frontrunner, Johnson. So were the candidates right? Was Johnson the obvious winner? Well, in the second round of voting, it certainly looks that way. This time round, candidates needed 10% of the votes to progress, equating to 33 supporters. So the results of the second round of the leadership election were as follows. Boris Johnson, 126 votes. Jeremy Hunt, 46. Michael Gove, 41. Rory Stewart, 37. Sajid Javid, 33. And Dominic Raab, 30. These results mean that Raab is automatically eliminated, as he came in last place. The others all make it through to the next stage, as they all achieved 33 votes or more. So what does this mean for the race going forward? Well, it's worth considering how these results have changed from the first round. The candidate who saw the biggest increase in supporters was Rory Stewart, who picked up 18 new votes, ahead of Johnson, who picked up 12, and Javid, who picked up 10. In the hours before the vote, Rory Stewart was turned on by both Javid and Gove. Javid accused Stewart of being a secret Remainer, despite Stewart's promise to seek a Brexit deal and him ruling out a second referendum. Javid also criticised Stewart's background as a former student of Eton and Oxford, saying that if Stewart and Johnson made it to the final two, it would look like an Oxford Union debating society. Gove criticised those supporting Stewart, saying that it would be a mistake to put forward two candidates into the final who will polarise the party. Despite this, as we said, Stewart performed well in yesterday's vote, securing 37 votes and picking up 18 new supporters. Stewart's new supporters will primarily have come from people who previously supported the defeated candidates, despite 3 of the 4 advocating for Johnson after their elimination. Clearly, Stewart is the candidate with the most momentum at this stage, but that doesn't mean that he'll win, or that he'll even make it to the final stages of the race. In the next round, Raab's supporters will be forced to pick a new candidate, and comparatively moderate Stewart doesn't have a whole lot of chance with previously Raab supporting MPs. If another candidate were to drop out of the process before the next vote, their supporters will be redistributed too, and at that point, Stewart will be more likely to see his share of votes increase. Stewart's momentum has meant that the Boris Johnson camp has pinned him as the most dangerous candidate, and has even gone as far as telling current Johnson-supporting MPs to back Hunt, in order to make sure it's Hunt rather than Stewart who makes it through to the final two. What else do these results tell us? Well, while Johnson is still far ahead of the pack, he hasn't picked up as many votes as expected. 50 votes were redistributed in this round, and he only picked up 12 of them. While he had his base of supporters from the beginning, this does indicate that he's not so popular with the wider group of MPs, and people would rather move their votes to other candidates. However, presuming nothing major happens in the coming days, it looks like he will make it to the final two, and polling suggests that he's still far ahead of the other candidates when it comes to the wider party membership. So it's still likely that Johnson will end up winning this thing. We'll know even more after the third round of voting, set to take place this afternoon. By 6 PM today we should have more information, and we'll be sure to report on that as soon as possible. To stay up to date with the latest news and our videos, be sure to subscribe. You can also find our content across other social networks simply by searching for TLDR News.